certified financial planning professional and small business coach based here in Austin, Texas. Welcome back to your financial therapy for the week. Thanks as always for tuning in. Before we get started, I need to ask you, as always, if you've been enjoying the show, please like, subscribe, give us a review wherever you're listening or watching. We'd really appreciate that. So this week we are talking about our next and final deep dive into the fourth of the four horsemen of financial planning. And these episodes have really been asking questions, things to ask yourself to help you kind of work through maybe some of your feelings surrounding how you earn or spend your money. And so if you haven't listened to the original Four Horsemen episode, I definitely encourage you to go back and listen to that. And then you might want to start with the first deep dive. And I say deep dive, but they're pretty short episodes. We asked three kind of poignant questions in each. But the first one is on obligation, and the second one is on fear and denial. Those two kind of go together. Guilt and shame, those kind of go together. And this last one is about 3 questions to spot check your feelings of pride, which a lot of people I don't think necessarily think is that much of a problem when it comes to money. Especially if you have reasons to back up your confidence, but it can be a real challenge to long-term financial planning to kind of lean on the pride of being either a high earner, a good investor, a frugal spender, a staunch saver. All of these things seem great. And if you go back and, again, listen to one of our episodes, Money Mindsets, you'll kind of get to understand that these mindsets are neither good nor bad, necessarily. The bigger thing is why. Why are you feeling this way? And so each one of these kind of deep dives is relatively short. But the whole point of the episode is to get you thinking about why you might be feeling some of what you're feeling around money and spending. And so today's episode, as I said, is 3 questions to spot check your feelings of pride. And so let's start, as we always do, by defining the issue. So when we're talking about spending or earning, what kinds of things might elicit a sense of pride, which is a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements, the achievements of those with whom one is closely associated, or from qualities or possessions that are widely admired. Who doesn't enjoy being admired by their peers, by their family, being respected for bringing in the money that you bring in? All of that is a wonderful feeling. It's wonderful to be the breadwinner. But often the origin story of people I meet, my clients, but also if you've been watching or listening to the show, many of our experiences growing up were like a roller coaster. There are ups, there are downs. And so if you're in an up period, letting that pride of how things are going define your future courses of action can get to be problematic. So some kind of ways this shows up: overconfidence bias, self-attribution, thinking that the positive outcomes that you're getting are yours and you've generated them somehow by investing just right or being in just the right place at just the right time. God works in mysterious ways, but probably not you that is driving all of that luck and timing and all of those things come into play. And so when you're attributing your success 100% to yourself, that can get tricky because it's very hard to reproduce that consistently going forward. And speaking of recency bias, so we have a tendency to think that what has immediately happened or what generally happens at certain times is always going to be the thing that happens. And so recency bias is another kind of, feel like I'm good. I don't know the stat, and somebody could look it up, but the idea that people rarely think that they're gonna be headed for hard times. It's an interesting thing, even in the financial planning world, that they teach you about your clients, and that I definitely have seen, is that there's always like this windfall around the corner for some people. And it very rarely emerges. Very rarely actually the outcome matches the hopefulness of what they are saying or planning for. But having to coach somebody that actually things are going to be harder than you think, that's really tough. It's a tough thing to kind of like have a conversation like that. And so one of the things that you can do to kind of help this conversation along is to ask yourself some feelings or some questions about your feelings of pride in a certain situation. So we're going to get started with the first question, which really does help to kind of like check you. And that's, did I plan for success or did I stumble into it? And this may sound like a really like kind of obvious question, like, oh, I definitely know that I planned for success. But you should probably be able to understand the path of that plan, the steps you took, the exact steps you took, maybe the preparation that you did on your way. My mom used to say preparation plus opportunity equals success. So the point is that, yeah, lots of success comes via luck, but it doesn't necessarily come without any level of your own preparation. And so preparation is the key. And then if you have an opportunity, woo, that's great, fantastic. The difference between getting promoted to a top tier job or finally landing a 6-figure deal or a $1 million client, those types of things don't come necessarily without some level of preparation. Winning the lottery is kind of stumbling into it. The buying the lottery ticket doesn't count towards. So these are like the ways that you might think about money. It all spends the same. But if you have taken the steps to generate dollars versus having a windfall of dollars, you are just on a different tier, I think, than folks who have a lot, but didn't necessarily do the steps, the preparation in order to grow that. All of that said, like I said, it spends the same, so no shade on anything. But when you can ask yourself and honestly talk to yourself about whether or not you planned for that success versus stumbling into it, and we're grateful for everything, then you have a more clear understanding of, okay, what can I actually spend? What can I actually save? What should I be spending or saving? Is this a generative sort of thing where I can make more doing this thing, or is this a static situation where I get a lump sum and when it's gone, it's gone? A lot of lottery winners, and I really want to do an episode about this because I find it fascinating, but lots of lottery winners and actually inheritors, anyone who inherits large sums of money, typically within 5 years, the entire amount can be depleted. And that's an incredible statement for how some people tend to behave, particularly when they stumble into money, when they don't understand that money is a finite resource and not something that they've actually planned to generate and sustain. So I hope that makes sense. I'm not trying to throw any shade on anybody who gets any level of money. And honestly, if you can get that seed money, whatever that is, and you know the steps to grow it, it makes it so much easier, right? But if you aren't recognizing the difference between those two entry points for dollars, then it can make you feel like, man, this is so great. I've got so much. It's a proud feeling to be able to finally buy something for your family, to finally pay off your parents' house, to finally buy a car right off the lot. That is just a wonderful feeling, I would imagine. But these decisions made out of that, rightfully prideful and happy spirit are not the best financial decisions. Perhaps for you, personal finance. So if you're being honest with yourself and your partner about what you make, how you made it, there is more of a chance for success. So don't let an unexpected win make you overconfident about getting good outcomes from inconsistent, uninformed, or risky behaviors. So let something exciting that you stumble into be the cherry on top of your already sound financial plan and budget. Okay? So the first question, did I plan for success or did I stumble into it? The second question is, what can I actually afford to lose? So whether it's an investment, a loan to a friend, or an outright, flex for you to spend on something that you just want to show off or indulge in, if you can't afford to spend or lose that money outright, like literally if you buy a car and you have overspent your budget, that's one thing. But if you've gotten to the point where you have made an unbudgeted decision and it's not just over your budget, it's not even in your budget, if you can't legitimately say, I could watch that car go off a cliff and it would be sad, but, the insurance would pay and it'd be fine. And, if you can't legitimately say that what you lose if that purchase, if that dopamine hit doesn't work out for you, then you definitely should not buy it. It's a very interesting thing to just check in with yourself on that point, because ultimately, what you're asking yourself is, what is that excitement, that being able to strut your stuff, what is that worth to me, ultimately? What can I afford to actually lose? So, if you can't afford to spend or lose that money outright because you've made that purchase or made that loan, like a lot of people, you don't have the money to give, but your pride won't let you just say, I don't have that. I don't have that, and I understand that you need it, but I don't have that. If you can't afford to lose it, without, thinking about how that person hasn't paid you back and thinking about how, oh, I really shouldn't have done that. And, then you're getting into the guilt and the shame of it all. You might just want to check in with someone you trust, your financial partner, your financial advisor. Mostly your financial partner would be a good one, because you need somebody to kind of check you and poke holes in that plan before you enact it. And if it really is about other feelings, not, yeah, gosh, I'm going to make this person's day, or I need to look real great for this event, or whatever it is, then, your financial partner can kind of guide you in whether or not that's like really a you thing. Like, is that really something that you should go for, you should do it, or is that an us thing, like, oh, we maybe need to make some better decisions. And if you don't listen to your financial partner, that's a whole other show. So the second question, what can I afford to lose? The final question in our 3 questions to spot check your feelings of pride is my pride about something I've already done, or something I want to do or be seen as? If it's about something you've already done, that's I would say budget in your celebration, because that's important. It's important to celebrate. If you make a whole lot of money in an investment, or if you do have a windfall of some sort, or if you get a promotion, or if you stumble on a new business idea, or create more out of nothing, those are things to be really excited about and to celebrate. And so build that into your budget. When it's about something you want to do, or want to be seen as, or want to be portraying, or think you need to be portraying based on what you earn, where you live, etc., that is problematic, because really it's just because you're counting your chickens before they hatch. Keeping up with the Joneses when you actually are not maybe making what the Joneses make, or don't want to be in debt like the Joneses are in debt, or don't have or have more kids, or don't have certain responsibilities or connections or anything else that this other group of people seem to have. All of that stuff is just, it's unwise to let other people's seeming personal finance drive your personal financial decisions. So, asking yourself, is this about something I want to do or I want to be seen as? The actions you take, even in the past, should be examined prior to repeating them. So, even if you did great before, day trading or something, I don't know. It's super old school. You probably don't want to try that again in this environment, right? Even if you were an excellent realtor in one city, doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the key to your success in another. And so variables change, things change. Making the best choices for your current situation is a good idea. And making it about you personally, your family, your values, your priorities is always the best path forward for you. Because you never know what's going on underneath someone else's budgetary sheets. It could be wild in there. Okay, so this has been 3 questions to spot check your feelings of pride. The first one was, did I plan for success or did I stumble into it? The second one is, what can I actually afford to lose? What would I set in a pile and light a flame? And the third question is my pride about something I've already done and maybe I should budget some sort of celebration or some sort of recognition for myself or for my family member or someone I love? Or is it about something that I want to do, I want to be seen as, I want to portray myself as? And in that respect, I would say put your head down and get to work, because that success is never going to be realized if you don't prepare yourself for it. So I really hope that this is helpful to you guys in spot checking your feelings of pride. Please go back, as I said, listen to the 4 Horsemen episode, listen to this series of deep dives, quote unquote, on the 4 Horsemen, and let me know what you think. I'm really interested in hearing from some of you. Well, some of you, haha, only some. I'm really interested in hearing from you guys. So send us a text or shoot us a voicemail. You can reach us via the number in the show notes below. Thanks a bunch, guys. I'll be back next week with another episode.